Hello, beautiful souls. This is Robert, your host. Welcome back to another episode of The Infinite Cup. Now, this is the new platform that I've been doing, right? Hopefully you've been tuning in and seeing the new way that I've been recording episodes of the podcast. I'm making these into YouTube videos as well. So for those of you watching on YouTube right here, thank you so much for being here. If you're downloading this wherever you are getting your music from, whether that's Spotify or Apple Music, thank you so much. Wherever you ended up right here at The Infinite Cup, just again, my gratitude going out to you for being here. Today's episode is all about letting go. All right. You, the viewer, the listener, can come in and ask questions directly or share your experiences. It's a spontaneous thing that I'm doing. All right. So if you call in directly, you have to be on my Instagram or TikTok. Following me anywhere on social media is when I drop the link for the Zoom call. This is going to be available on patreon.com/theinfinitecup. All right. It's kind of a, like I said, spontaneous thing. So I'm just dropped the link about 30 minutes before we go live, and you guys can hop on and do this interactive style with me. Thank you all for being here, and just want to give a shout out to Earth Runners, my favorite barefoot sandals. You guys know you've been following me on Instagram. Just got my brand new pair of tribal laces. They are epic. All the amazing benefits of grounding, EMF, resistance. We get way too much EMF exposure these days, right? We know about what that's causing and how to create the balance of energy, and the sandals are the key. All right, you can wear sandals now and still get the promoting benefits of the earth and the grounding benefits of the earth. It's awesome. Check it out, earthrunners.com. If you haven't heard about it, use the code Infinite Cup to save 10%. All right, the Infinite Cup, all one word, 10% off, just for everybody right here at the show, listening and watching. Again, thank you all for being here. Let's jump right into the episode. Here we go. All right. Yes. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for being here. Today, I just wanted to start by talking about letting go. That's going to be today's theme. This is a big, broad topic. I'm going to be talking a little bit here, and feel free to just interrupt me at any time, or if you have any questions, feel free, do not hesitate. Right now, we're experiencing this great awakening. There's a huge shift in energy. That's what we talk about when we remember the Great Awakening. And I use the word remember because that's really the process here. I love that saying, right? We're all just remembering. We are here on this planet for such a long time, and we are tapping into a deep, deep thing right now, which is our spirit, which is our soul. That's our true source of information and the source of our consciousness. And it's a lot of deprogramming or unschooling, whatever word that you'd like to use, to get rid of those layers so we can really let go and remember who we truly are. And a lot of the things on the current, news and just our current events in our time are a reflection of that. And we're both doing that in a way that our home life, and in a way that is both what we see on the outside as the collective, the collective scale shifting into this great awakening as well. So I just want to go deeper into the exact art of letting go and how to actually do that. Right? I get so many questions about how to let go and what does that mean? I feel like people hear it, but they really just don't know the exact process, and to talk about that further, I would go into what I would call meditation, right? We have to meditate and bring that into a conscious action into our daily life, right? Because guess what? Life happens, right? The things in our life, whether it's the environmental, political, or just family, drama, it happens. There's really no way around it. And a lot of the spiritual stuff, honestly, that I see out there is people just avoiding it, and that's really not the solution. I love that saying, right? The only way out is through. So remember that through this process, we have to go through it. And that's exactly what we're seeing on the outside is this, release of the old energy and a purging of the old fear-based ways and opening up into the new love-based ways, which I would call the new earth or the fifth dimension or whatever word you'd like to label that. So it's a beautiful process when you can let go. It's not a beautiful process when you see resistance and a lot of victim mentality, blaming others, and that just as a dead end road when it comes to not growing, right? At the end of the day, what we're talking about here is growth, really, right? Because that unconditional love, that's the growth that we're headed towards. That's what we're all anchoring in right now. The old ways are simply not going to serve anybody, and it's obvious, what's happening right now on the outside based on our current events, and we can no longer accept that. So we have to let go of those old ways and all do our part to be that change. So, so if anybody wanted to chime in on their experience or maybe ask a question when it comes to letting go or anything they wanted to share.
I have a question.
Yeah, please do, Vi.
Hi. So I've been following your videos for a while, and I love them. And I watched The Secret on Netflix, and I loved it. It was so amazing, and I was doing really, really well with manifesting and everything. And I told my therapist about the Secret movie, and I asked her like if she saw it, and she's like, some of it was amazing, but some of it was baloney. How do you kind of like just how do you like not listen to them, I guess? I don't know how to like explain it, but it was just kind of discouraging hearing that.
Yes, no, I totally get it, and especially to a therapist, their language, and their vocabulary when it comes to anything based on psychology is going to be different than what we saw in The Secret. That's all. It's kind of like the principle and the energy is real. It's just how you explain it or what label you put on it is always going to be different depending on the person that you talk to. So for me, when I watch The Secret, I can kind of dissect that into a lot of yogic philosophy and Vedic philosophy that's very ancient that I've just because that's my belief system and that's based off what I've used to reading and interpreting myself. So I agree with what she's saying, though. There's definitely a lot of stuff that I would say is just there to promote sales and to kind of get you to buy stuff. Not to say that it isn't true, but I would just say it's kind of overdeveloped or blemished a little bit than the actual thing. That's all. So it's not to say that it isn't real at all. Again, it's just like maybe a little bit blown up to get you to buy more books or more DVDs or whatever the case might be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yes, the basic principle of the law of attraction, and which I would call the law of magnetism, which is the whole thing about The Secret, is very much real. And that's a lot of things I talk about on YouTube or just anything on social media, because I feel like people get the gist of it, but they just don't actually know how to put that into a practice, and that's where letting go is that practice, because we all have that thing that we want in our life, whether it's the new car, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, whatever that situation is. It's really just a matter of letting go of that and just letting the energy go through you and just live your life. And rather than obsessing and just creating that want and desire and hope and struggle, that's coming from the ego, the lower self. You need to let all of that go and let the higher self take over and your intuition take over and be guided through this process. It's not I want it, I give me, and you can really tell when the ego is winning, and that's where meditation comes in as far as the practice to really allow you to let go, so you can let the higher self take the wheel and everything becomes a little bit easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And I just love your videos and especially because I started like I found you on TikTok, and then I saw your YouTube channel, and using those principles that you've taught, like, and I do your guided meditations on Pandora every night right before I go to bed, and it really has transformed me a lot. And the whole magnetism practice, and I used to have chronic anxiety, and this really has helped me a lot. So I just wanted to say thank you, and you're a huge inspiration to me.
Blessings. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Thank you so much for that feedback. I really appreciate your kind words. It's exactly why I do what I do. So thank you. I'm really happy because I put a lot of work into this, and I'm really happy that you're experiencing the benefits. So thank you so much for sharing that. Awesome. Brianna, Carolina, or Camelia there, did you want to chime in on anything real quick?
I had a question, well, a few.
Yeah, no
So
worries.
I also found you on TikTok. I'm kind of new to it, and I'm kind of learning all these like technologies. So I'm starting to, see that a lot of, us light workers are kind of like in this area. And so I was wondering about Pandora and Patreon and all those places, because I have no idea. Like, I just found out about that. And
Yes.
it's kind of overwhelming because, my guides keep telling me I need to speak up. I need to like start like sharing my stuff, but I really I'm having trouble like following all these like technologies and stuff.
Yes. Yes, yes, I agree with you. It's overwhelming for me as well. And I came from living, completely off the grid, doing nothing. The guy just living under the rock who had to embrace. I didn't have a cell phone, for many years. I just recently embraced all of this and took it on head on because that's what the current social media world we're living in, right? You have to use the current means of technology to get a message across. And you're right. The guys are telling you to definitely speak your truth, and this is the way to do it. And, it's going to take what I would call just addressing your bandwidth, right? You just have to sit down and ask yourself what you want to achieve first, and then how you're going to do it, and just set aside that time to really do it. I literally had to write down my fears, and I'm still a little camera shy and still figuring out technology and still doing this every day. So it's not like you're ever going to really do it completely and be done with it. It's just there's always going to be a learning curve, to something, right? And there's definitely a huge learning curve when it comes to social media. So just pick your most important parameters, that you want to stick with your bandwidth as far as putting your energy into, and then go from there. And slowly, before you know it, you'll be able to post on Pandora or TikTok or have a Patreon page or anything like that really soon. It doesn't happen all overnight. So definitely just start slow. I mean, for me, I started with, I think Instagram and YouTube at the same time, and that was really overwhelming. And now it's like TikTok and Twitter and YouTube. I can't do them all, honestly. I need like to hire a team. I wish I had like 4 or 5 people to, hire a whole team at this point, because that's what it takes. It's like a full-time job, So definitely, relax about it and just bite off as much as you can chew. Just do a little bit at a time, because you don't need to do it all overnight. Focus, just on TikTok and getting your, maybe 3 posts out or whatever you want to do per day. And then that's it, and call it good. And then slowly, before you know it, you'll be doing all of it like as much as you want.
Right. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really overwhelming. But Patreon has been like calling to me for a while. I'm just not sure what it is about.
Patreon is great. It's a way that you get around. It's kind of like uncensored content. It's for people that want to join your tribe, people that want to be a part of your community. And it's something that I, post on Patreon that I wouldn't normally post on YouTube or anywhere else. So there's exclusive content, put it that way, right? It's something that, especially nowadays, a lot of my videos on YouTube are getting taken down because of the sensitive times we're living in. And people, if I mention certain keywords, the videos will get flagged, and I have to be really careful about stuff like that. So the Patreon is great because I can just full blast talk about anything I want, and it's completely uncensored, and it's not being picked up by the algorithm or anything like that from Google. So it's really good. So I definitely recommend Patreon, because it's kind of like a loophole through that, and you can just talk directly to your followers, and you don't have to deal with all the political, drama and the loopholes from regular social media. Yeah.
Great. That sounds great. Also, I work a lot with women. I'm a photographer, and I do a lot of nude stuff.
Oh, so perfect. That would be the perfect thing, because like for me, it's 18 plus, right? When you go in, it's even to get access. So you can set all those parameters just like I did. You have to be, 18 or older to look at the content, and then you can set the tiers. You can put private stuff on certain tiers that not all people can access. So it's a great thing for photography, and exactly what you're talking about.
Thank you so much. And I know that this was a little bit off topic, but going into the topic, letting go.
Yeah.
So I've been in this process, I guess, for years now, because my dad's a shaman, and he kind of got me into all this since I was very young, but I just didn't understand any of it. Like, really, he would talk to me and say things like, hey, if you ever see my body disappear, my clothes are like somewhere else. I was like, what are you talking about? And things like that. I'm just starting to understand a lot of dreams that I had when I was younger. I dreamt a lot of ETs coming and like lights and things, and I saw columns and like very biblical things that I just never got to chew, and like I just wasn't ready, I guess. And so now it's all coming kind of together, but I'm having trouble like letting go. Like, just because I was raised in a very Catholic country. I'm from Colombia. all these things are very embedded in me, like all these walls and things, and like, I'm manifesting to, break them down and just to, open myself. But it has been hard. It has
Nice.
been, um, overwhelming as well. Just a lot of feelings. Sometimes I'm still reacting a lot,
Yep.
which I'm just, it's been hard to deal with it. And as much as I meditate and all these things, I'm just really having trouble letting go. So I
Yes.
really need it.
Beautiful, beautiful. What an amazing story. Thank you. Yes, this exact process is what we're all going through in different layers, right? And I'm not saying that to compare it. What I'm saying is it's going to be challenging. There's no way around that. Remember in the beginning we talked about this, the only way out is through, right? You have to go through this. Now, especially when you had the courage like we talked about in the beginning, you already mentioned you manifested that you want to clear this out. So it's going to come up, right? And when it comes up, that is your chance to go through it. And the more you can be in your heart space, that is the answer here. So what I'm saying is the fear comes from the mind, okay? What I'm saying is you're not going to be able to get through this through the mind, right? That's not the vehicle that's going to create that transformation for you. The heart is. So you have to love the process. So that could mean a lot of different things in that exact moment when the process itself is happening for that exact memory or trauma or thing that comes up to the surface, right? That's the thing. Whatever your fear is, it's going to come up for you to face it. And then once you go all the way through, that's when the expansion happens, okay? Now, the only thing that you can do is be excited about that experience from the expansion, right? Now, this happens when you go all the way through. It doesn't happen. It's like the reward we get, right? And it's just this upgrade. Now, the only thing that you can really do is be excited about that upgrade and know what it's like to have that weight off of your shoulders and to be that new, greater version of yourself. So that excitement and that pure joy and that visualization is the fuel that gets you through it. And then, of course, your support team, your crystals, your meditation, your nature, all the things that you do, the rituals that you have, what I call tools on the tool belt to help you get you through it. And depending on how traumatic it is, that's why your dad with the shaman, they have specific ceremonies and things with people holding hands and elders and different things based on that exact event, right? So it's up to you to kind of address what you exactly need and to create that environment for it to happen. The question is, though, most people are simply too distracted in their life to really let this happen, right? It's like your higher self and your guides, everybody wants this to happen for you. It's just we get so caught up in our everyday busy life that we don't really let it come through. So your job is to simply create that space for it to come through, right? What does that look like? Maybe some pillows on the ground, maybe some nice music, some frequencies, some really relaxed dim lights. You have to just really create that space and it will happen, right? And the longer that you can stay in that space, the more energy will be pulled through you and the more you can ground and be in that heart-centered place to allow it to go through you. Otherwise, that energy is going to shoot right back up to the mind and you're going to intellectualize the whole thing and jump right back into the fear. Because again, this isn't happening intellectually. This is happening through you, your entire being. Like literally the cells are changing. So it's not happening through your thought process, through the intellect. It's not a book smart, savvy type of thing. It's you really embodying that experience and going through it and being like, wow, I did that. I can't believe I just did that. No way. And then there you go. That's the upgrade right there. And it's a beautiful process, and it's the most important thing that I get, asked about too is that same thing. And I would say, don't get caught in expectations. Right? I think a lot of us are basically really heavy on that judging side of the mind that always is like, oh, you got to do this, you do this and do this. And then it's like you're already setting yourself up for failure just by not following through. Right? So what I would say is just don't even have the expectation at all. Right? And again, all you have to do is create that space. So the more you do that and create the space and have that ritual, the more your mind will fade away and that fear will fade away because you're literally telling your mind, hey, I'm doing this. Guess what? Pillows are coming out. We're doing this right now. I'm about to light the candle, right? I'm about to light the incense. Yeah, this is happening, see? And the more you can just kind of make it this, sensual, beautiful kind of thing rather than this fear like, oh, I got to distract myself and I got to go eat or I got to go for a run or go do this other thing, right? See, that's what's happening 24/7 in the mind. It's just keeping you so busy that it's not allowing to happen, right? And the last thing I want to say is it's going to happen again. right? So whatever whatever trauma or whatever thing you're fearing or facing right now, that will come to the surface, drift away. I like to use the analogy of an ocean. It's a wave on the ocean coming up. It's gonna crash down, and then another wave's gonna come right back up, right? So just remember that. See, and once you remember that, you know that the next wave is going to come. So why should you get all, pent up about this one? See, I mean, it's going to happen again. Life happens. As long as you have this human body, you're going to have to deal with all the things that you have to do to keep it alive and sustenance and blah, 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 and the family. And you know what I mean? It's going to happen. So don't get so caught up into this one particular, event, because I can guarantee you it's going to happen again. So the better you can get, comfortable with this process, the easier all of it will be.
Oh my God, thank you. You just cleared up a lot of messages I had this few past days, and I wasn't following very well because they kept telling me about my space, to create the space, but I wasn't like really following if it was like a mental space or a heart space or a physical space or just like and I definitely think I need like to create a physical space to be in. Like a specific place to do these things.
Yes, 100%. That's what tells the subconscious mind that you're ready to do it.
Well, yay.
1 second, sir. Okay, sorry about that. Yes. The exact process when you create the space is allowing your more power, more energy, more courage to come through, because you're telling the subconscious mind that this is what you're doing. So now that's why meditation, even that little sacred corner or that room, whatever you have, even when you wake up, it becomes repetitive and it becomes a part of your subconscious, because now you just wake up and it's there and it's like you already know. So that calmness and that gentleness is already happening even before you even enter the space, right? So again, it's just the resistance, right? That resistance is what's creating the fear. And that's all up here. That's it. That's it. That has nothing to do with love. It's the exact opposite of love. So just remember that. And that's why meditation is the key, because you're already doing it. You're catching yourself and you're like, man, if I could just do this one thing, right? So that's what meditation is about. It's about catching yourself in that moment. And you're like, wow, okay. And then that's when you walk straight into that space and sit down or go light the candle or go do whatever you need to do to hold down and anchor in that new energy, because all that fear is your whole old self hanging on. That's it. So old self just like, no, don't change, please. Let's just keep doing it this way. And you got to just tell them, break it down. Be like, you know what? This is what we're doing now. And this is it. And that's it. See what I mean? It happens on many levels. I know I'm saying the words and it's going to feel differently when you're actually experiencing it. So you have to go through all of those levels and just create that space. Use that positive affirmation during that time when you have that space where you catch yourself, and then it'll all relax back into the ocean once again.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, Camelia, for sharing. Brianna or Carolina, did you want to chime in and ask anything?
Yeah, I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so I'm really new with the whole meditation and everything. I started like 3 weeks ago. I'm really, really new to this.
Okay.
And so I've been like reading a lot and watching a lot of things. And I read something that said that something that could be blocking like your meditation or your like whole process, like awakening process, could be like your inner child blocking you from that, like believing that you're not good enough or something. And so my question is, how do you know if your inner child is blocking you in any way? And if it is, then how do you stop that from happening?
Good. This is great. Yes. So what's happening is a lot. What they're talking about is through that inner child. That's where all of our programming starts. So the self-limiting beliefs and everything that's holding us back right now in our adult life usually started through that childhood. So the inner child needs to come out. So what I'm saying is that all of those things that you were told weren't right or wrong, or that you weren't capable of doing when you were a child, are very much capable to do right now. You just have to go back and clear it out on all levels, meaning you have to do those things that your inner child wants to do, and let it out. And that's when you clear it out on all levels. And that will help you manifest, help you unblock your chakras, help you with all the other aspects of spiritual life, because you're balancing all the energy. Now, a lot of inner child work can be very different. This still falls into the letting go, because really it's all part of the same thing. And when you let go of those attachments, those things that you have in this life, your adult life, that's when the inner child will come up and be like, okay, that thing that you did on your 7th birthday that you really wanted to do, you really wanted to play that basketball game, or whatever the situation was with your friend where you should have said yes but you said no, or you couldn't go, or whatever that thing is, will come to the surface. And then before you know it, you will have that opportunity to do it right now in your adult life, and then just go. This happened to me many times, like with rollerblading or just certain childhood experiences, and you just go for it. You don't let the mind question it and be like, oh, you can't do that, or blah blah blah, he can't go on the playground, or he can't go rollerblading. You know what I mean? Like, I hear that voice all the time, and you just override it and you go, you know what, I'm putting on these rollerblades, so it's gonna be fun. And that's it, just because it's going to be fun. You see? So this all simply falls into the same principle, which is we're collectively shifting from the mind and the fear into the heart and into the love. So the inner child is very much a part of that. And I would say the majority of people, on this planet are simply neglecting their inner child. And they, mommy didn't love them enough, daddy didn't love them enough, whatever situation happened. And that perpetuated into their adult life and their relationships. And they're karmically creating that problem for their future generations. So the more we can just get this back into center and bring this into our practice, right, and let that inner child out and play, the more we're just going to love everybody and evolve together.
Okay, so pretty much like trying to heal your inner child before you try to heal yourself in the present moment.
Yes, exactly. It will happen simultaneously. You healing your inner child will heal yourself in the present moment as well. Yes. Because it's kind of like, the 3D is a linear time frame. The 5D is a all one time frame. So really your inner child work is, when you do that, you're happening to do that on all timelines. Even though it's kind of like you think it's in the past, it's really not. The past and the future and the present are all one. So when you do this, you're going to ripple out onto all of those timelines together.
Okay, and I have another question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, so in regards of healing the inner child, let's say you're a child who had a lot of trauma. Like personally, I had a lot of trauma when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So how do you work on healing that? Like, how do you work on healing something that happened so long ago and that probably either you don't even have like a full memory about it, or you don't even think about it? Because personally, like, I endured a lot of trauma, but I don't usually think about it. Like, I don't have it like in my present life. So how do I go back and heal something that is not present right now, or is not in my mind, or that I might not remember correctly or completely?
Yes, it's to simply make you stronger. So instead of, I'm not trying to correct you in any way. What I'm saying is the word healing implies that there was a problem or a wound or something, which, yes, happened. But all you have to do is understand what I like to call the cosmic view. You get out of your personal self, the lower self, the ego, and the who, what, when, where, and why. And you get up and you orchestrate this whole cosmic view of exactly what's going on and why it happened. So those people were presented to you into your life to simply help you grow and evolve. And in order to grow and evolve, you have to have difficulties, suffering has to happen. So that's hardwired into our system. Now, we can blame the people and the reasons and why they happened, or we can love them for how they happened and understand why it had to happen. Therefore, it creates a more of a clarity, and you can have more courage to face more things in the future and have that energetic upgrade and not be in that traumatic, fear-based zone. Now, if you don't feel them, like they're not coming to the surface, then these are just simply things that you've already overcome in your life and you've integrated completely. Now, that's not to say that, let's say you get into a deep meditation or a yoga class or something. I've seen this happen multiple times where, if you relax long enough, some things will just come to the surface, or you do a specific energy, Kundalini pose or a Kriya, meaning like you're moving your body body and it gets released. Okay. And that's very common as well. So what I'm saying is the more you can just do your practice and have that energy within your heart, have the courage to face this, that's all you need to really target. You don't really need to address the specific memory, because that will come to the surface in the correct, perfect, divine timing for you to face it so you can heal on all levels. So really just work through it and keep doing your practice and these new techniques that you're developing as you begin to, embark this spiritual journey. And it's going to be amazing, because as these things come up, you're going to be prepared for them.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Carolina, did you have any input or anything before we wrap it up?
No, I'm here as the observer right now.
Oh, hey, yeah, cool. Yes, awesome. Yes, thank you for being here. Yes.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
also, I'm so sorry. Keep
It's
going.
fine. No, I was done. I was just observing, I'm usually someone who's always talking and talking about myself. And it's like, it's nice to hear people who have questions, because it's like, maybe those are questions I haven't asked, and, the answer might benefit me.
That's exactly why I'm doing this. Yeah, it was an idea I had just last week, and I'm happy I got it all together and figured it out finally, because this is where I think the most value is for the time, for everybody to really, figure this out. So I appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much. Looks like, what was it, Susanna? Were you chiming in there for a minute? I think you're the last person here too in the chat, just so you know. And then everybody's kind of said their piece, so feel free.
That was me, actually.
Oh, okay. Was that Valerie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you are. I see your microphone on now. Okay, great. Yes, feel free. Go ahead.
So I have one last question. So I've been seeing in your TikToks and in your YouTube videos. So I've been seeing 11:11 once in a while, or I'll be 1 minute off ish or something. And I've heard on your YouTube and TikToks that if you're on the right path, or your higher self or your spirit guides will tell you're on the right path if you see these repeating numbers 111, 222, 333, 444, 555, etc. How do I don't know, I'm not seeing them. Are there any I've been trying to do the inner work, doing the shadow work, nature, yoga, meditating, journaling, all that kind of stuff. So is there any reason why I wouldn't be seeing these numbers, or
No. No. It's just a simple, synchronicities are beyond the mind, right? They're beyond time and space. Like when you have those moments of deja vu and stuff, like, that feeling, it's like, whoa, it kind of catches you, right? So that's what we're talking about. Some people like to refer it as the matrix, crumbling down the matrix, however that, makes sense in your brain. It's fun. I can feel your excitement about wanting this to happen. And this is beautiful. And I would say it's kind of funny, because that's the exact topic of this episode here, is letting go. So what I'm saying is, even the excitement and all that, it has to be channeled into your life. And not to say, put it this way, the synchronicities and all that stuff, that's a side effect of you doing your purpose and you doing what you do in life, right? It's not even the money, the abundance, all of these things that people get caught in that they want as far as desires are just side effects or bonuses to you actually living your purpose and you doing what you do. So all I'm simply saying is, it's just energy, right? Everything is energy. And the more you can just focus on your purpose and what you're excited about and passionate about, right? If let's say you like hiking, and you're, for me, I can explain, because I went to Alaska. I lived in Alaska for a long time, and just being in front of Denali, the largest mountain in America, it's insane how still you become. It's you're just in that awe, whoa, it's just this presence, right? So the more you can put your body and your mind in that space, the more you're allowing that oneness or that spiritualness, that mystic energy to come through you, right? So those synchronicities, the 111s, the 555s, those are all real, and they have specific messages, and there's a lot of them. Deja vu, lucid dreaming, we could talk all day about it. That's, again, yes, a sign that you are on the right path and in line with your heart's greatest desire. The thing is, though, even you wanting that desire to do something is still a trap in itself, right? So it's always about circling back to the now and putting your energy into that thing that you're productive, passionate about within your life. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. That's a perfect explanation.
Yes, you're welcome. I mean, I do the same thing. Trust me, I do the same thing because it's exciting stuff, and our world is not really conducive for spiritual life. So anytime this stuff happens outside of the norm, it's like yes, and you get all excited about it, and I love that energy. And it doesn't matter whether it's a new car, the boyfriend, the job, whatever it is. Those are still like things, and we always get caught in that thing that we're manifesting instead of the actual life itself, right? And that's what letting go is all about. You have to let go of that thing, let go of the new car. It's like that famous saying, right? If you really love them, then let it go, right? It's true. You have to let that person go. You have to let that desire go. And when you fully surrender, that's why the mantra that I use most often is let go, surrender, and repeat. Because when you fully surrender, you will want to just repeat that action and keep repeating this process because the universe has something way bigger in store for you than whatever you could imagine in the first place. So just drop that thing that you're picturing, and you'd be surprised what the universe can present for you. Awesome, guys. I think that's it. Awesome. Everyone had the 2 cents. Everyone, thank you so much. Camellia there, Valerie, Brianna. Thank Caroline for chiming in. This is beautiful. Thank you for taking the time, and we will do this again soon. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste. Have a good one.
Namaste, guys.
Bye.
Bye.